you know what? I always get the same buzz, you know, electricity going through my body. Gwever, yeah, that's the word, gwever. Every time I see the stadium. Hey, shwai, hey, Mawhyd. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just fired up. And that's the song, isn't it? David Iwan's song. That's the song that lights the fire. Right. Oh, man bach. Oh, man bach. Where's my talking gone? Where's my talking? Oh. Diolch byth. This talking, it's gold. It's not just a ticket to the game. It's a ticket of dreams, of love, of the strength of a nation to face whatever comes to challenge you. It won't be just a team in there today. No, it'll be yours as well there. The Red Wall. And the Red Wall will be singing, boys, Bach. Singing like David Iwan. In the 70s, that's the 1970s, that is, when everyone wore flares and had long hair, yeah, man, David Iwan was protesting over rights for the Welsh language. They were calling for the language to have an official status within her own country, you see. David Iwan even ended up in jail for a few months for his activeness in the battle over fairness for the Cymraeg. During that time, people like David Iwan were calling for a referendum. They wanted devolution. They wanted a Welsh assembly to start the process of governing ourselves. Well, we had a referendum in 1979. David Iwan, like many others, were hopeful for the future. They could see the road clear for Cymru to grow as a nation, and the language and culture was a huge part of it. But all of that hope was destroyed as nearly 3/4 of the people said, nah, no, we don't want an assembly. We're fine as we are, thank you very much. Now that hurt. People like David Iwan felt it. But pan fydd hael ar y mynydd, pan fydd hael. You see, David Iwan saw the survival in us, not the defeat. And that line he wrote, gweitha pawb a phopeth I ni yma o hyd. In spite of everyone and everything, we're still here. That line was loaded. David wrote Yma o hyd full of references to centuries of challenges and battles that Cymru and the language had faced. Dwyt ti'm yn cofio Maxen? Well, do you? Do you remember Maxen? Or Magnus Maximus, to give him his proper name? Of course you don't. He was a Roman emperor that came to Wales around about the year 380. So David Iwan goes right back in time to start the song. Now, a good place to start is at the end of the era of the Welsh princes. Oh, maybe some of you will say, but there is still a Prince of Wales, but there hasn't been a Welsh Prince of Wales for centuries, has there? A real Tywysog Cymru. In 1258, Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, succeeding his grandfather, became the Prince of Wales. He was popular, successful, and an effective leader. By 1267, Henry III, the King of England at the time, acknowledged that he was indeed the Prince of Wales. But then, Edward I became King of England. And in 1282, Llywelyn was ambushed and murdered by the king's soldiers. They cut his head off and carried it off to London to display on the gates of the Tower of London for 15 years. He was the last of a succession of Welsh princes. They killed his brother, exiled his daughter. Now he is known as Llywelyn the Last. Llywelyn ein Lliw Olaf. But he wasn't.
Right, where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are.
1400, rebellion. Another Tywysog Cymru came along, called Owain Glyndŵr. He wanted an independent Cymru, with its own parliament, its own universities, a nation developing on its own terms, which meant getting rid of English rule. He rebelled for years, and even got support from the French king. Oui, monsieur! He had a successful rebellion, but in the end, the tide turned against him. Oh, he wasn't caught or killed. He vanished, went into hiding, until the time was right to rise again. Some people believe that he's still waiting to come back in another form. Maybe Gareth Bale, Robert Page, or Gwyll. I'm Gwyll, by the way. Even though Owain didn't succeed, he was the last Welsh person to hold the title Tywysog Cymru, and he had awoken something in the Welsh people. But over the years, there were a few attempts to erase the Welsh identity. By 1536, Cymru was a problem for the King of England. Henry VIII, this time. Too many hog roasts. He wanted Cymru and England to merge into one nation. Or rather, he wanted to turn Cymru English. One nation, one language. And it wasn't going to be Cymraeg. He created the Acts of Union. He got rid of all Welsh laws, replaced them with English laws. He denied the Welsh language any status. All official dealings had to be in English. In 1536, most Welsh people only spoke Welsh, so they were immediately put under a disadvantage in their own country. And those few who could speak English turned their back on Cymraeg. The Acts of Union made Cymraeg a weak and inferior language within her own country. Ooh, it makes my blood boil, boys bach. I need to change now. Yes, well, this isn't much better. We are now in the year 1847, the year of the treachery of the Blue Books. Yes, I know, they were a bit colourblind, but brad llyfrau gleision, you see. By this time, education was improving here in Nghymru, but those wise men in London weren't sure if the Welsh were on the right track, meaning the English track. So, the government commissions an educational report on Wales, and 3 men, probably dressed like this, went around Wales to report on the situation. Most people only spoke Cymraeg in Cymru back then, especially the children, and so the learning was in Welsh. But the 3 wise men didn't understand a word of Welsh. And you know what they concluded in their ignorance? Welsh children are stupid, and the Welsh in general are dirty, lazy, drunk, ignorant, and immoral. Those were the actual words, and they blamed Cymraeg for it. Another obvious attempt to push the language into the gutter. And this led to one of the ugliest stains on our history. In some schools, if you spoke Welsh, you had to wear this around your neck, the Welsh knot. And whoever was wearing it at the end of the day, they would get punished. Ow! Killing our language was one way of killing our identity. but some might say this all made us stronger. During the 20th century, the number of Welsh language speakers fell dramatically, but we hadn't lost faith. We were establishing the Urdd, Plaid Cymru, the Welsh Language Society, Cymdeithas yr Iaith. We fought for Radio Cymru and S4C, and with Welsh Language Acts, Cymraeg had official status. But that 1979 year was painful, not only because of the referendum result, but a certain Margaret Thatcher became Prime Minister. Thatcher and her government were responsible for the biggest change in the Welsh economy since the Industrial Revolution. When she closed the coal pits, it devastated communities. Division, unemployment, hardship, poverty and hopelessness was rife in Wales. It was painful, and the scars remain ugly. But gweitha'r hen fagu a'i chriw, byddwn yma hyd diwedd amser. Maggie Thatcher was Prime Minister when Dafydd Iwan wrote those words. He felt the threat to our nation, not just to our language, but to our culture, communities, and our way of life. But we're still here. Rini yma o hyd. Such a simple song. Anyone can sing the verse. There are no language barriers here, boys bach. Yma o hyd has topped the Welsh charts several times, a firm favourite over the years. And in 2020, the song was #1 in the iTunes chart. Not because it's a catchy song, but because it was a part of the Welsh independence movement organised by Yes Cymru. But what has the song done for us? The Red Wall, y Wal Goch, and for the team. Someone said it was Chris Gunter who started it all, singing to Dafydd Iwan, and suddenly the song made a lot of sense to the boys as they listened to it while training or on the tour bus. So, when the team had the idea of having Dafydd Iwan singing in the stadium before the games, well, it just loaded the Red Wall, y Wal Goch, with extra cement. We came together. The Bangor lads, the Valley boys, the Wrexham boys and girls. It didn't matter who we were or what we spoke, because all of us knew that singing those words would give the team the strength they needed to make it through. Hynny yma o hyd. Truth be told, Dafydd Iwan and Yma o hyd has given us a voice to be able to tell the world that surviving is in our blood, and that together we are stronger. Shwmai boy, ready? Yeah, can't wait. Right. Oh, man bach. Where's my tocyn? Here it is. Diolch byth for that. Yma o hyd. Hey, wait for me,